What's up, man? We in there. Hey, what's going on, good people? How y'all doing, man?
What's up?
What's up,
Today,
y'all?
today, we are doing a very, very deep topic. We telling everybody today that we do encourage you. If you're in here, you
You
can
want me to comment?
comment.
Okay.
Yep, you can comment. We're gonna try to put the comments on the screen. We're gonna, we'll read some comments, good ones. This is a conversation, man. This is a conversation about the crack era versus the
Epidemic.
epidemic, whatever we're going through right now. So you know, is some people might get offended by what we say, whatever it is, what it is, man.
Nah, I don't care.
Me either, because
Indicate.
a lot of people don't realize how many people are still affected by the crack era that they still haven't given help to or or rectify the situation. As people still doing damn near life in prison over a couple grams of rock, whereas people who sold twice as much as that in cocaine that did maybe 20 or 30 years.
Well,
You know,
where the original, thought process came from, and I think it was the same. I think it was the same documentary, but I'm not sure. I might be wrong. If not, go watch. What's it called? Cracked.
crack on
Crack on Netflix.
yeah.
And so I watched it, and it got me mad. Now, this is all the stuff that we knew, but when you see it put in your face all in one, kind of in one reel on this documentary, you definitely get pissed if you come from the side where we come from.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's break it down, man. How it started, man. Listen, cocaine, man, where it all started at. Crack comes from cocaine. Where cocaine at one point in time in the 70s and well into the 80s was considered a rich person drug. People from
Yeah,
businessmen,
lawyers.
lawyers, politicians, everybody was doing cocaine. It was looked as a pleasure drug or whatever like this, or glamorous drug.
Recreational.
Recreational glamour drug that only elites could do or elites can get their hands on. So when this drug was going on, it wasn't like, it was they were trying to get rid of it, but they wasn't really trying to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they had the whole thing
Nah.
with crack. But the thing was how what made cocaine inaccessible to black people. But black, like always, we in these inner cities, you want to be a part. You go to a club, you want to say, hey, I did a line of coke or whatever like that in this time, at that time. So when people couldn't afford it, they start making up this drug called crack. The reason it's called crack is because when you smoke it, you hear like the cracking noise from it being smoked. Now, when they made crack, it was cheaper and is
Who
accessible.
created crack?
Who created crack? It was supposedly created. Supposedly somebody. I want to say Freeway Ricky Ross went to jail. I want to say it was him who said it. He went to jail and somebody said freebasing was already around. Freebasing was basically a way to smoke cocaine. You know what I'm saying? That been going on. So when they cooked up crack, suppose he went to jail and he was in his cell with somebody. He said, "Yo, I know a way to make this shit. You can rock up cocaine that you can sell it and it's cheaper. You know what I mean? You can make it. You can make a lot of money off." So dude got out of prison, got him a kilo of cocaine, cooked it all up, and turned it into crack. Now you can go out and tell people like, "Look, I got coke, but it's rocked up and you can smoke it." And people
And it
like, "But
hit you
how?"
fast.
Yeah, and it hit you fast. And people like, "But how much is it?" Man, it's only $5. You get $5 for a rock. Oh, so I can get the same feeling like when I go to a party with everybody else and they on cocaine, I get it with crack. Not the same thing. Two different things, because when cocaine, you know what I mean, you can do cocaine and everything like that and still somewhat live a normal life. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it's normal, but a normal life. Whereas crack, you're smoking this and every day you're chasing that
That first
first
high.
that first time.
Yeah.
And it where cocaine will last for hours upon hours, crack is it hits you
In the first
15,
15 seconds.
15 seconds, and then after that, that feeling is gone. So what you're gonna do is like, oh man, that was too quick of a high. Let me go buy another rock. Boom, you just keep going and going and going and going, and you're chasing, you're chasing, you're chasing.
Right.
So I was led to believe that crack originated in not necessarily originated, but started in Miami area.
Nah, it's
So I mean, if you do a little history,
Um.
it was brought in
the
and was
cocaine.
called it was crack cocaine, and it was taught to be made through the adolescence and the time frame. That's why freebasing was such a sort popular thing, I guess you could say. But it started what happened was at a time where you couldn't get, and they specifically said this on crack, at a time where you couldn't get nothing in the United States, you couldn't get a Cuban cigar in the United States.
Right.
Cocaine was being flooded from all sides.
Do y'all know
Okay.
why? Do you know why?
Yeah, government.
The government has something to do. It was a
Obviously.
war going on, and I think was it?
It was right. It was the
North
Ronald
America.
Reagan era. It was the Ronald Reagan era.
It was a Reagan. It was going
And he was structuring
to deal with the Contras. He would,
yes.
he
And
was,
he was trying. Basically, he at the time when he was trying to get into office, he was pretty much pulling on the more poor people's heartstrings to kind of get him in office, and then what he was going to do to help
They all
build
do.
up communities, not our communities, but the communities is more like him. Okay, and what helped their communities thrive more is by putting our people and our culture at a halt, pretty much, by bringing in a drug that they know that they can put into a society, separate the two, because back in the day you couldn't get cocaine unless you were like in the mob or they gave you the okay to get it, because it was controlled by them.
Yeah.
But with crack cocaine you could do whatever you want with it, and they didn't give a fuck about that because they wasn't trying to have that hit their communities anyway.
well, and that's what happened. He was funding this war. That's how the cocaine was getting. He was funding a war in South America where he sold guns, he sold weapons to Iran.
Yep.
Then Iran will return. What would they return? They would
They
return.
would pay them.
They would pay them, and then they will go down to the people in South America, give them the money, and smuggle back the cocaine.
Mhm.
Which made what Kev was talking about with the Reagan shit. What you were saying about the Reagan. The reason crack hit our hood so hard is because you have all these poor people living in there, and then you have this cheap, inexpensive drug that can make you a fucking millionaire overnight because everybody's coming to get it and chase it. So you don't have no other means of getting money other than selling this rock. You're going to sell it, and you don't care who you sell it to or who buys it or whatever, because you're no longer broken, you're no longer poor, but you're not realizing the effects that this drug is having on people. Because, man, listen, it may sound funny, it's funny, but it is what it is. Like back in the day, you get whatever you needed from a crackhead. Crackhead will go rob from their own mother, sell you their TV for $20. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep getting high.
I think it's a deeper conversation that a lot of other people they don't necessarily get. On this documentary, they and it hit me when I saw it, and I was like, a lot of this is targeting, right? Like a lot of this shit, like everything they do, even now, sales, it's targeting. It's targeting different demographics. It's all control. It's not necessarily the matrix that you come to know from the movies, but it is the matrix. I say that to say the dude on the documentary was explaining how McDonald's had a commercial,
Oh, Calvin got a job.
the Calvin commercial, which when I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that commercial.
I immediately thought of Dave Chappelle when I see that commercial.
Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. But Calvin, Calvin got a job. You know what I'm saying? Calvin, he walk past all the drug dealers, he go to work at McDonald's. To me, that's targeting anyway, because it's like they want your nigga ass to go in there and work in there for $3 an hour, which what the guys was saying was, dog, that's $3 an hour. I'm like 3 something an hour. You could go in and sell this and make a couple $100 a day.
Not even
selling crack.
You can make that in an hour. You can make
in an hour.
Yeah, the dude
You
said
think
that one day
selling
he made
crack.
like $1 million, and it came out to like 300,000 or 400,000 profit.
Yeah,
That was Rick Ross.
that's
Yeah.
Freeway Ricky Ross, one
Yeah.
of the biggest. He was
A
directly
deal. Yeah.
he was directly linked. What got him off? He was directly linked to getting cocaine from the government.
Yep.
Oh
They
shit.
it was
Very
that's
deep.
what pissed me off because I lived in that era. We all lived in that era, and I grew up in the area where it was rampant at, dude. Like you would literally go to the park and you would see the vials all over the ground. You would play with them because it ain't nothing harmful. It was just crack that was in residue that was in there. They just dumped it out and smoked it. So you would literally have. I would literally, as a kid, can find a handful of black tops, red tops, and the top signified who was selling the drug. Whatever the one, like if you OD'd on a red cap, oh, you made money that night because your stuff is that potent that you got me that close to the new high. So everybody wants to go buy these caps. So you would see these shits littered through the fucking park as a kid, littered everywhere. That they were just everywhere, and that just goes to show you, like the town I grew up in was a small town. West Stack was not big at all. But you had all the neighboring towns, Chislehurst, Sicklerville, Lindenwold, Pine Hill, all these people from all these different towns coming flooding into this one town to go buy drugs. These I seen kids, my my cousins and them driving around in gold Lexuses, Pathfinders at the time, the newest Nissan, new car, you know what I mean, jewelry on, all fresh sneakers, pockets full of money. I'm like, yo, where the hell y'all getting this money? Because ain't no fucking jobs. Ain't none of y'all working.
See, but that's where the predatory shit comes in at, like all of it. Because you can go, you can be in, like, say if your dad is a doctor, you live in Mount Laurel. I don't know. I'm just coming up with a neighborhood. If somebody you know saying they selling crack, you like, the fuck you need to sell crack for? Like, we good over here. But in the poor neighborhoods, when you say somebody can make, as y'all say, like a couple $1,000s in a day, shit changes. Shit changes your thought process. And you say, yo, at 15, I can have a couple $1,000s in my pocket. One dude he said he had like 75 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
That's the shit you thinking about. And you, because nobody around you getting money like that. No one around you. So it's almost like the government knows that, you know, in all honesty. Once they figured it out, they played on that and they said, okay, we know we can get these people to sell all the shit that we need them to get to where we want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tell your neighborhood that.
It's
That's
all
what
of us.
they made that whole fake thing where it's called, which pissed me off about the crack era and this opioid epidemic that we're going through now. They had this whole fucking thing, the war on drugs. Who remembers going to Dare class? You remember Dare used to have
Mm-hmm.
Dare back in the day, and
Yep.
it's just I remember the Just Say No campaign when the cops came to our school and they gave out the Just Say No T-shirts and shit like that.
Yeah.
Remember, just
They,
say
but,
no.
yeah, but they would villainize the people who were selling the drugs, and it also villainized the people who were doing the drugs. Like these are bad people that are doing these
Yeah.
drugs and stuff like that.
Scum.
Scum, which I can hear the music, which pissed me off. You know what I'm saying?
Is that the ice
Because
cream man?
these was people that I love, that I care about, that I seen doing terrible fucking things to get high. You know what I'm saying? And how they look at it now, the opioid epidemic is, oh, they're sick and they need help. They need all of this. Where at that time was, yo, lock them up. Because I seen kids, 15-year-old, their mom and their dad get locked up. Now it's a house full of kids, and they with their grandmom who can't fucking work. What you think the kid's gonna do because their dad was selling drugs and the mom was selling drugs, and that's all they knew. Now ain't no more money coming in this house, or they're getting high off the drugs. Ain't no money in the house to eat. What you think you're gonna do? You're gonna go to the dude. You're gonna start hanging around the people that you know selling drugs. You're gonna ask them, yo, how do I get on? I need money. And now you right back in the circle. Like it was meant to tear our neighborhoods down. It was meant to take parents from kids and turn kids into what they called us at the time predatory monsters, predators, super
Super
predators,
predators.
which is not even the fucking case. What makes Go ahead, Dre.
That's but no, that's the loop that we all get caught in. it's really we're being preyed on.
Yeah.
We were being preyed on. Like, listen, I'm not the only one. I'm not saying I would ever do it because I definitely wasn't built for selling drugs or going to jail or any of that. But I can't say that I never thought about it. You know why? Because you sitting there, you see, as Kev said, you see the people driving around in cars at 14. You see all this and all that. What I didn't realize is that the government's role behind it. I didn't realize, see, us as kids, we didn't understand what dare and all that shit was, right?
Oh,
We didn't
yeah.
understand none of that. All we knew is just say no. This is your brain on drugs.
Yep.
It comes to the main problem in this country to begin with. If I'm running for any type of Congress, any type of office, I need a platform. This is where the problem stems from. People won't get it because they're not affected by it. So they just see us as criminals who could have made a better choice. You could do anything else. But the truth is, if I'm a politician who needs a platform, drugs is the easiest platform, bro. It's
Yeah.
easy, especially back then. I'm gonna make the problem, and then this is going to also be my platform. It's a win-win. I'm gonna make the problem, then I'm going to use that problem to stand on as a platform to get myself elected, to then make money off the problem on the back end by setting laws in place and doing shit like that.
Yeah, the three strike laws or the all that shit. What pisses me off?
Mandatory minimums, bro. Let me go into some of the stuff that was on the
Yeah,
documentary that kind of pissed me off. Y'all can't tell I'm pissed off about the documentary,
yeah,
not because not because I didn't know any of the information, but because that shit was real. They said what 15 grams of cocaine
yeah,
was equivalent to one rock, meaning like how you can get sentenced.
yeah.
So if you have one rock on you, no matter who you was, you can get like 5 to 40 years.
Yep.
You would need 15 grams of cocaine to get you what you can get for one rock. When you went to the white neighborhoods, niggas ain't had rocks in their pocket. Niggas wasn't getting high for rock. It was cocaine, presumably.
Yeah, so they have a little baggie on them that didn't equal to that amount.
Right.
Just like now with the opioid things. I see,
That's because the judges and shit was doing it.
yeah, I seen people, like I said, I knew people that got locked up that were fiends that got caught with a rock on them and did 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I see fiends every day get locked up, get caught with dope, fucking nodding out right now. They hit them with a Narcan, they let them go about their business. Or if they lock them up, they let them out that next day because they were just high. They go to a treatment center. There was no treatment center back then. It was no treatment center for us because it was a black problem.
It was a
Why
black problem.
why why give we already came, which is fucked up. It was like it's a whole setup. You see, like from the beginning, like ever since we got free from being free from slavery. First, we going to let y'all free. We're gonna limit the jobs y'all can get. We're gonna limit the area that you can live in. You did all this shit, and then you go throw this drug in our neighborhood. All right, listen, it is our fault for selling it, but it also ain't because like dog, I don't have no job to get to. I got these kids that are fucking hungry. I'm hungry. They trying to make me.
I'm not
I'm
good at
about to be.
sports.
I'm. You know what I'm saying. I don't have no other means of getting money. This rock right here. You telling me if I'm cautious enough, I can sell this back 100 and make 5 and go buy it again and keep doing this all night. You telling me that I can have 1,000 of these shits in my pocket and make 5 grand tonight? Because you will make it. You seen the documentary. Listen, I seen it personally. I seen it as a kid just hanging out at night
I seen this
in a
shit.
drug when I was living in my area. I would see cars all night long, just riding through lights, brake lights, all night at one corner. All night long, these cars would come. The cops wasn't like they said. The cops wasn't out here. Shit, I remember as a kid because I told stories. I wanted to play at the park. This how scary these fucking cops is. I wanted to play at the park. I literally sat on a hill with a little pointer laser and pointed it in the cop's car. They turned their sirens on, never came back the rest of the night. I never seen cops when I grew up back here. There was no cops. When they came once in a blue sweat. Sometimes the cops was stealing niggas packs and just taking their packs from them and just taking their money and leaving with a pack. Here, go get the rest of my money. Facts.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you talking about? It's a game, but you think everybody ain't gonna play?
Nah.
It's a game, dog. It's a game that it's just like cops and tickets. This is a game that they know that is being played above their level. That they like, all right, well, I could capitalize off the game, or I could just be a participant. But nah, I could come up off this.
It's a game of control. So back when this whole crack epidemic,
Let me hear you, buddy.
you can't hear me?
Yeah, you got to turn him up a little bit.
Yeah, back when this whole crack epidemic started in the Reagan era, when the crack was introduced to the neighborhoods, it wasn't, not to say that it was good, but it wasn't all bad. You know what I mean? Like in some aspects, the neighborhood kind of started to flourish. The guys who was out there trapping, making money, was giving back to the neighborhood. They was taking care of their people. You know what I'm saying? Even though they wasn't doing it with the right state of mind, but drugs is drugs. You know what I mean? At the time and any time, if somebody's is willing to buy it, you're gonna sell it to them, especially when you were living in poverty.
Right.
And they were living below poverty. Okay.
Right.
So they're introduced to this new drug, and they think it's a new beginning in a sense for them. You know what I mean? They were having piles and piles of dollar bills talking about giving it away to the poor. You know what I'm saying? Just regular shit to them. And as greed started to take into it, people started dying. You know what I mean? The neighborhoods and sets are being brought up, and people are wanting more money, want to make more money and have more for themselves or their people. So, you get that turf war that gets going, but in all reality, it was brought here to hinder us. You know what I'm saying? It was brought here to be used as a game of control. Just like you said, the difference between what you would get sentencing wise for 15 grams of cocaine compared to one rock was just obscene. And not only did that just happen throughout the Reagan era, it continuously happened.
Yes.
All throughout the 90s. Their biggest play was the war on drugs. And one of the presidents that we kind of hold dear to our hearts was one of the main conspirators among it, which is Bill Clinton. You know what I'm saying? Which is another reason why I wouldn't have voted for Hillary Clinton. You know what I mean? Because you're standing by your man with some shit like that. I don't respect.
Super predator. They was the super predators.
That's one
exactly. And they knew what they knew what this shit was doing. Exactly why fathers wasn't there for their children.
Right.
Exactly why people weren't living to see old age parents are outliving their kids. You know what I mean? Neighborhoods are turning to shit. It's out there looking zombified. And it didn't do nothing but graduate from that to other drugs to get people to be that way. You know what I mean?
You know what? I feel like a lot of people, when they say, yo, man, it's the new modern day slavery, I think what they think is, because a lot of people, you say that, especially the white people or some black people, they'll be like, nah, man, y'all need to just make better choices and this and that. It's systematic. And also, we're not talking, when we say slavery, it's not the traditional go take somebody from where they're at, make them do something or this. Well, it is, but it's in a different way.
It's prison system.
The prison system. So, and it's for profit. So a lot of people say, nah, it costs a lot to keep somebody in prison.
Really?
So it does, right? But here's the thing. Or maybe that's fake numbers, but that's the story they say. It costs a lot to keep somebody in prison. But what kind of labor are you getting off these people? How much subsidy, how much funding do you get to keep your prisons full? And if that is a goal for a person, if I run a private prison, right? Not a state run, I'm talking about a private prison, which is a lot of these prisons out there. If I run one, what is my goal? Let's just go through this real quick. What's my goal?
To maximize your population.
How can I do that? Me as a person who just owns a business. I want you to actually think about this.
Make a fake, like they did, make a fake war on drugs. Because
but I'm the hold on. Let's go through it though. I'm the owner.
You make ways to keep
You
these
you
people who
let
are in
you
there
start
as
regulate.
long as possible,
You talk
and
to
you make deals with those surrounding you to get yours brought, to get their
That's
criminals brought to you.
that's the point. So it's funny because a lot of people will say, "Oh no, that's just nah." It's systematic because those prisons
It's fucking
have to
politics.
get filled. In order to fill them, me as a businessman who owns a prison and multiple other things, I have to get people in there, right?
Yeah,
Relationships. How did this person get elected? I got them niggas elected with the things that I can do because I got the money. In turn, laws get passed. Yo, what's the easiest thing to do? You think you can go lock Zachary and them up for
No.
shit? Or can you go lock
It-
Raheem and them up for doing something that they probably was doing wrong anyway? This is what the public thinks. That's why the news is geared to make us look like criminals. That's why
yeah.
all of this shit is made, movies is made for us to look like criminals. You know why? Because now when we vilify you in real life, just so we can fill our prison systems up and we can keep the money going,
It's
nobody's
justif-
outraged. You just a nigga, and that's what y'all do.
it's
Now y'all can go
justifiable.
ahead.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like it's fucked up what Kev was saying earlier, like and what you just said. Like people like Raheem or in the hood, whatever. These wasn't bad dudes. Like I remember as a kid, the drug dealers would buy out the ice cream truck for us, or they'll load us all up in a van to go take us swimming,
So you got
or
the nicest drug dealers ever.
you know what I'm saying? Nah, but we was the kids. We little kids. Yo,
We had some of
you
those.
ain't got no like. I had dudes like, yo, you ain't got no money. Like they have a $5. Y'all want something from the candy store? All right, here go $5. Go break, take this. Y'all get y'all shit. Just bring me back a soda.
It's
All right,
grooming
bet.
though.
You know what I'm saying? Bet. It wasn't grooming us. It was just like these was just dudes that I hate to say, like you looked up to these dudes, and it ain't right to look up, but it's like,
Yeah,
yo, this
that's
is
how you
all
get
I see.
groomed.
That's all I see. That's all I see. I look up to these dudes. Like I said, the reason I became a Wu-Tang fan is because when I seen Cream, that video, all the niggas that hustled on the corner looked like them dudes. And these dudes wasn't, as a kid, it wasn't bad to me. Like they was doing some terrible shit. Yeah. I listen.
I never saw that.
I got a couple family members that were getting high that got beat. They beat them up. Or I seen them beat up. I seen them beat up fiends and stuff like that. I seen shit like that. I seen wild shit, but also I seen good shit happen. Like I benefited from some of the good shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? I would get money. I would get money just to stand on the corner, just to say, what we called the cops was whip wop. We say, yo, you just say whip wop real loud. You see the cops coming. I would say it. They would run. The cops like, yo, we're trying to lock up the bad guys.
That's what they tell you.
But yeah, that's what they would tell me. The cops like, we trying to lock up the bad guys, but y'all keep warning them. Like, y'all motherfuckers is bad. Y'all not back here helping us. Like these dudes back here are giving us shit, feeding, you know what I mean, having cookouts for us and shit like that, or giving us money to help us out, or you know what I mean, making sure we straight and not that we can come to the
The-
park.
Hey, yo,
Y'all
Drake.
not y'all
public-
y'all cops is not coming here to make sure we can sit at this park comfortably.
Hey, yo, Drake, Kev said that to them, and
No,
they right then and there, the next day they created Dare.
Nah.
They started having fucking
Nah.
cookouts. They started having
We got you
all
now.
types of
Now
events.
we
As
do
soon
it.
as Kev said that, they was like,
They do
"Oh, y'all
shit.
need a little food? Y'all want
I
some
would-
ice cream?"
They ain't do shit for
See,
us.
but
I'm
I
not
would
gonna
never-
I'm not gonna rat on these people that's
Just
doing
fucking
stuff.
with you.
I'm
I'm
not
just
gonna
fucking
rat
with
on
you.
these people that's
Yeah.
doing stuff for me. You get what I'm saying?
I would never, and you know what though, Kev? That's something that the normal public doesn't know, right? Because if you go anywhere where they're like, lock those guys up, they're all pieces of shit and all that. I grew up with those guys. I got like, yo, rest in peace, my man Maul, man. We all, it's certain other people that did it too. I ain't gonna say their names, but Maul did. We wanted to be like, I wanted to be like them niggas. They was like a little older than me, but I wanted to be like, I ain't gonna say be like them, but you wanted the shit that they was doing. They came like Maul, the first thing I know with the full polo sweatsuit,
Yeah.
hoodie John, with the Air Forces, driving a J30. You know what I mean? I don't know what crackhead he got it from, but that's what we saw. So these drug dealers that they vilified was our friends.
Yeah.
Like they was our friends. So that's why we see it different. That's what I'm saying. This whole thing is public perception and control. Me and you see it differently because we seen these people as, yo, like I play ball with these dudes. I play, you know what I'm saying? Like we used to play tag. when
Yeah.
we was younger. Like, no, I know them. They're good people. Have they maybe shot and killed people? I don't know.
The
But
thing about it
we
is
know them like that.
they were never even given a chance regardless, because even if they sold or didn't sell crack, they would always be vilified just by the color of the skin and where they're fucking located.
Exactly.
So the fact that he had to make a decision, being in poverty, am I going to hurt my people or am I going to let my people hurt? That's really what you think. Is my family going to starve and be stuck, or am I going to figure this out right here? And this is the way to figure it out, because obviously you wasn't giving him an opportunity to make money any other way. You already institutionalized us with this whole schooling bullshit. You wasted so much time of our lives going to school thinking that once we get graduate, we go to college and it's this fucking glorious thing that happens when you're done and you
We'll
just
talk
get
about
this
that.
fucking exclusive ass job. Nah, none of that shit worked out that way. You know what I'm saying? You were privileged and put in privileged spots to get to where you are. And if you weren't that, then you were stuck. And there was a lot of us that was stuck. I wasn't living in a life like that. I had family who grinded and grinded, left a situation, got to a better situation, did whatever they could to make sure that their kids and grandkids were good. I was pretty much raised by my whole family, you know what I mean, on my father's side, in one household at that. But it just goes to show you, my whole family lived together. Grandparents, all of their children, and their children's children lived in the same house for a period of time of at least a decade. You know what I'm saying? After they were adults. So they were living there that whole time, just before we were born. You know what I mean? So that in itself just goes to show you how hard it is for you to be able to escape that shit. Even when you leave it, that shit still follows you over the color of your skin and what they think that you're worth.
Well, yeah, because
So then they throw you in these motherfucking situations because they know you ain't got shit. Guess what? You gonna bite on this, guaranteed. Either that, or we can give them this because we don't want them having our stuff. And the cocaine was their stuff.
Yep.
That was a white drug. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And when they started seeing black people taking it and being able to afford to take it, it was like, nah. Number one, we gonna raise these prices up, make it harder for them. Number two is we gonna give them something else, and this is gonna fuck shit up.
It's gonna fuck shit up.
which is crazy because it did fuck shit up. It took like I had family members that was on the shit, and these was good people, good fucking people. But once they got on the drug, how they make opioids look like it's a sickness, like these people are not themselves, and with crack, it was just they're monsters, they're crack addicts, they're making crack babies. Like, nah, y'all not understanding. These people that I seen that was hooked on the shit, they you will see them, they love you, they give you love, they will want to talk to you and deal with you, and you know what I mean, interact with you, try love, but they can't escape getting high. They have to get high, and they was making terrible decisions, but
I'm gonna
nobody
I'm
put it as a sickness. Like my pops told me a story of how somebody sold. This is how sick the drug make. They sold their kids to the drug dealer to get high, and it took everything and everybody power to get these kids back. And the person wound up trying to do it again just to get high. You can't tell me that's not a sickness. Somebody you would sell your kids. The one most I'm a parent. My kids mean the fucking world. I will die protecting them. Somebody sold their kids to get high. They look at them as a monster. That's a sickness. That's something sick. It's sick. Like this drug is forcing you to do. You need this drug so bad that you was willing to go that low to get it.
Did you see in the documentary what like what they wound up doing to the mothers
Yeah, they
of
was
like, yo,
yeah,
but now it was sick though, like
crazy.
sick.
locking them up in front of their
Locking them
kid.
up, dog. It's the nurse. And the funny thing is, when you think about the nurse, so the nurse or the doctor or whatever she was, when the woman would come in after having a baby, or just coming into the doctor, she would like interview him and like this is for the people who don't know. She would interview him and ask them like stuff about drugs and drug use and all that. And the one lady was like, "Yo, where are these questions going? Like, where's the information from this going?" And she was like, "Oh, this is just for me." She was calling the cops on them, and the cops was locking them up, no questions asked. Like, "Yo, you serving drugs to or crack to your infant." Like immediately lock them up. The point being, that nurse probably thought she was doing the right thing. You know
But,
that
but
because
look,
they were vilified so much.
yeah, and look how they do them in the opioid addiction. These parents come in doped up, pregnant the whole time. They get all the proper treatment. All they do, they don't lock these women up. They just take their kids, put them in protective services, and the moms go back to going to do what they want to do.
Or
Where go get you? They go. No, this is facts. They go get them help. Whatever they're not locking them up. You need help because you're sick. Only a sick person will keep doing drugs with a baby.
or they provide a safe spot for you to go to do drugs.
Yeah, that to do it. It wasn't
Matter of
no
fact, when
safe
you walk
spot.
in here, let me give you some drugs to get you off your drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me give
It
you some
was not-
drugs to get you off your drugs till you get the fuck out of here. And then
It wasn't that. It wasn't that in the hood. It was crack vials everywhere. Shit everywhere. Just people it just shit right in the park. Whatever. You playing ball, somebody getting high over there. Or you see this one house, the crack. Everybody had a crack house in their neighbor. I don't care if you grew up in the 80s in a black neighborhood, you had a crack house everywhere. You knew where the crack house was. You knew the fiends would go there all night long. It'd just be a line of people all night long. That was their safe zone, which really wasn't a safe spot at all because as a kid, you couldn't go near there. You know what I'm saying?
and to kind of go back to what you said about how we view those who did crack or the crackheads, we definitely
Talk shit.
villainize them too.
Yeah, we did.
You was taught to.
Yeah, exactly. Because we were young, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't know the truth.
Your mama
Nor did we care to
crackhead.
even look for the truth because the truth was supposed to be given to us. It was just given to you by those who deemed it to be it. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't know the difference at that time because you were a kid. If somebody tells you it's something, then that's what it is. Because obviously they know more than you, especially if it's your parent. You know what I mean? So when you start seeing crackheads, you make fun of them. You don't want to be around them. You call them all the time. They fucking with them, this, that, and the third. And you grew up doing that to them.
Yeah.
Until you actually seen how people are treated differently and start understanding what's going on to your culture and your people.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying?
until I found out who uncle that was. As I got older, you feel out, oh, that's such and such uncle. That's such and such. That's such and such mom. That's such and such. And you see them now after they done went through it, and you like, yo, I can't believe I've ever talked to you crazy or nothing. You such and such mom. I got respect for you.
Yeah,
you don't get it as a kid.
I kind of did because it was family members and I loved them. You know what I'm saying? Like you made your jokes, but at the end of the fucking day, you felt bad. But you didn't know what they was going through. You just, you know what I mean? They would love you, but your parents was like, yo, stay away from them. Like, you can't deal with them. Because you try to help them out, they'll take money from you or steal from you. Like, it happened. I seen it happen. I know it happened. It happened to me as a kid. Like, but I still love the person because when I was younger, I didn't know what he was going through. But you know what I mean? When I became an adult, like, or started getting old, I'm like, damn, like they was on something that they couldn't shake. And when they tell you their stories, like, yo, it's nice. I cried because I didn't want to do it, but I'd be in so much pain. If I didn't get it, I had to go get it. Like I had to. Like they would chase, like bro. I always seen like they be out there. You can pay a crackhead. You used to back in the day, you could pay a crackhead $10 or $20 to fucking clean a backyard out that's full of trees and logs, and the motherfuckers will work their ass off until it's clean. You know what I'm saying? Until it's clean.
They don't see
We
the
used to
hurt,
have
man.
Boxhead back in the day, and we used to make fun of him all the time. Rest in peace. And he used to do shit that nobody would want to do for $5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cutting 2 yards, washing cars, doing just to be able, and that shit. Like we didn't take any pity on him or none of that. We just looked at him like he was just a crackhead, and you should have known better than to be fucking with that shit. Because as I was raised, seeing what was going on, I knew, man, I ain't never touching that shit. You'll never catch me just stuck like these motherfuckers. I'm
Not
sorry.
even a thought. Not even a thought to touch it.
You know what I'm saying? And I know people that were close to me who, got caught in the game and had to fight their way out. And I know people who didn't make it. You know what I mean? And to watch that, even especially to ones that's close to you, you know what I mean? The ones that you love dearest, and have to let them go for the time period or forever. You know what I mean? This shit is, it's probably something that we shouldn't have did because we just treated it like they were just pieces of shit. Like they were just lower than.
We didn't know.
Look, yeah, we didn't know
how the Dare program, how TV, how everything, how everybody around it made it look like how they doing the opioid thing now is you're supposed to have compassion for these people. You're supposed to, they're sick. This is an epidemic. You got look at the actors on the. I'm gonna just break these two down. Look at the actors that did the comments for the crack era. Crack is bad. It's bad. If you do drugs, it's bad. You're a bad person. You sell it. You're a bad person. You shouldn't just say no. And if you know what I mean, all disparaging remarks to people that was on drugs or selling drugs. Now in the opioid addiction, you don't hear nothing about the dudes that sell dope. You never hear nothing about them.
Yeah, I
They're
don't
not
hear
mentioned.
about them catching them or doing any raids. I
Exactly.
definitely don't see that
You
on
don't see
news, but
that.
I don't watch the news, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but the commercials down for the actors is opioids addiction. Please, if you need, find help. Have compassion. Show love. Because it's two
Listen,
different fucking complexions doing
listen.
the drugs that's being done.
Let me take you back to 1993, 1992, and 1990s. Do you know what the commercials were? Because there was commercials.
Yeah.
Because once again, let's I'm gonna take it here because I want us to understand that these are pillars that these Congress people, or what do you call them, the people that run for office, stand on.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. Take it back to like the 90s. Do you know what the commercials were? I'll help you. I'll remind you.
Just say
Crack
no.
is whack. Don't do it like that. There's a black dude in front of you rapping to you, which was the biggest thing at the time for us. Wasn't for everybody back then.
No.
It was for us back then. Crack is whack. Don't ever do that. And then they put your favorite athlete or your favorite actor on the commercial, and he'll tell you that crack is whack.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't tell you, hey, these guys need help, or hey, visit a local whatever to get some help. They didn't even have help for us. But they'll put your favorite rapper in front of you and tell you crack is whack and all that dumb shit. It's
not
all
the consequences,
it's all control, nigga.
Not the consequences. They would tell you, oh, when your brain is on drugs, they show your brain as a fried egg.
I still don't get it.
Like what?
Why
wouldn't you explain to someone? They treated them like they didn't have any type of intelligence.
My brain is delicious.
Yeah, right. My brain is breakfast. You know what I mean? Do I get some protein with that? You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was fucking retarded. And we used to make fun of those commercials all the time because we thought they were stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we understand.
Same thing as
what
the
y'all
AIDS
trying to say,
commercials.
but that shit is fucking retarded. Like, and then to put somebody like Pee Wee Herman behind there, or like that.
Bro, I mean,
that shit was crazy. I saw that.
Just
I was like, what?
Dog, I remember them having cartoons.
Didn't you just touch a kid?
But dog, you don't remember back in the day they used to do episodes. Cartoons used to do episodes about crack. What?
He said touch.
I want you to get to that. I want you to get to that because I do remember that. But the funniest shit is Pee Wee Herman didn't do like his normal voice. He did the Pee Wee Herman voice.
Yeah, because he was appealing to
guys. Like I'm like, yo, what?
Get your whack ass off the screen. But
don't follow me into a movie theater.
But back in the day, I remember it was a cartoon. How the cartoon
all of them
made the drug dealer the most lowest scum on earth, selling drugs. You're selling drugs to kids. We're gonna send Captain Planet to beat the shit out of you on the corner because you're a piece of shit and you're garbage. And I'm like, damn, and that's how you looked at him. Boom. But you don't. But you this is a. No, I hate to say this is a white man. I wrote this shit. Never came in our neighborhood. Never seen black people. Never don't know what goes on. Where you like, dog, he's supposed to be a bad dude, but this dude just gave me some money to get the ice cream, or he just, showed me some love, or told me to stay off the corner. Don't do this shit. You remember, drug dealers used to tell you, yo, don't be out here with me. Don't do this. Get out of here. You ain't built for this.
The whole neighborhood would be on you if they saw you on the corner because they knew you. Like this is back when my dad, they knew your dad wasn't having that shit or your mom wasn't having that shit. Yo, get out of here if I call your aunt or call your dad, and you was out. Yo, just real quick, I don't want to interrupt you. Do y'all remember? I thought this movie used to be the dopest shit ever. They probably showed you in school, but it was like an after school special, and it had all of the cartoon characters in it, but it was like a drug movie.
Oh yeah,
what was that?
I forgot what it was because they was trying to. The drugs was taking over the cartoon area, and they all had to stop this.
It was a bunch of cartoon characters that we loved was in it, like trying to help this one kid or something like that.
A little white kid or something like that.
Yeah,
and the villain was like he was black. He was made out of tar. His skin was.
It was something like that. I gotta find it, but yo, I used to want to watch that shit. They got me.
Nah, but I'm just thinking about this shit. Like, all the shit that went down back then, and like you understand when they start locking these dudes up, like they don't realize how much the crack era is still in effect to this day because they lock these dudes up that had morals like, yo, listen, we don't shoot at grandmoms, we don't, you know what I'm saying, we don't kill, you know what I mean, we don't beat up old people and shit like that and everything like this. These are the dudes that was in charge of running these gangs and shit while they were selling these drugs. They were just trying to make money. Now you take these dudes out to the neighborhood and you just leave a bunch of younger kids, crazier kids to be in charge. These motherfuckers is now
Sorry, cartoon all stars to the rescue.
Yep. That's what it was. This one. I
I
was
got
just
it right
looking it
here.
up. That shit was the thoroughest shit
It's,
ever, yo.
it's got mad people in it though.
It's got a lot of cartoon characters in it.
Hell yeah.
All
There-
the shit that
that's a
hit you.
that's a crossover right there.
you can put it
Look
on
at it. It's
screen.
Winnie the
That's
Pooh.
how they got you.
It's
Yeah.
yo, it's
I remember that.
a crossover. Sesame
remember he was-
Street up there somewhere. Is that Gonzo?
Yeah,
And they showed them dead, like they
Muppet
showed
Babies?
kid
Oh,
on
no,
there
that was
dead,
Sesame
like
Street.
going dead. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
But that's how they painted this shit for. They didn't understand what was going on in the hood. They did not understand. They didn't take the time out to understand that just how they got this opioid epidemic, as they calling it. Because the reason there's an opioid epidemic because
About to watch that shit.
it's affecting white people. Let's be real. It's majorly affecting white people and white
Yes.
kids and white community. Because how the opioids, let's backtrack to the opioid. You're a construction worker. You hurt your back on your job. You got insurance. You can afford insurance. Hair takes these Percocets. You keep taking them. Your back is hurting. Now you're getting addicted to it. But the doctor cuts you off. You go maybe one of them 2 more times. He's like, yeah, you got to stop taking this stuff. It's addictive. You can afford the perks at first because you need that feeling every day. You can afford it. When your money starts going low and you can't afford that $30 pill, but you can afford a $5 bag of dope.
I've seen
that,
it.
yeah. The lawyer who had the back problems or the knee problem that was taken and you know what I mean, their doctors like, we're not going to give you no more of these pills. I get a $5 bag of dope. I'm good. I can keep functioning. Until that does with the same thing the crack does, is like you're chasing an even greater high. Now the pills you take has no sensation on what the dope you just did.
They just raise your bill.
Not you won't want the pill no
30s
more.
now.
You won't want the pills no more because you got the dope. Your dope is cheaper, is a better high to them. Now this lawyer is out walking around in the streets of Camden, which is a bad neighborhood, looking for dope. I don't know how many fiends you see. And they're just as worse. Why you should be locking them? They just as worse as that. Because back in the day, a crackhead smoke a crack vial a drop. That's it. These motherfuckers is leaving needles that they're sharing with everybody in these parks where these kids is playing at. You know what I'm saying? These kids can fall and hit these needles or run against their leg. It's needles everywhere. They sharing it. They're spreading AIDS and all this and any other kind of disease they get.
Hepatitis.
They're just the fucking worst. They just shitting everywhere, pissing. They don't care. Like dope fiends don't like dope fiends. At least I can say for a crackhead, I can get a VCR and a TV out of a crackhead, or I can get a crackhead to clean my whole yard. I can't get that from a dope fiend. Dope fiend is not doing that. Dope fiend and rag stand in the corner in front of your face when you park your car at the light, stand there with a cup in their hand, shaking in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? Or going back home to like they'll go back because that's why there's treatments, because these white kids will go back home to their parents in these rich white neighborhoods and say I'm clean and ask them for all this money to I'm good and go right back to the hood, smoke up. So that's why this is an epidemic instead of that's why there's no war on drugs, because you can't lock up little Tommy who daddy's a lawyer or a
That's
judge.
the point.
I'm about to say follow
Yeah.
me, because that's where I think it really kind of started at, right where I was about to get to that. People in prominent places, political figures, people,
It affects them.
it's affecting them directly. Like,
Yes.
this is my son or me. What was the dude name who was having the pill addiction?
Joe
I
Biden?
can't- Was it him? Oh, I didn't
No,
know
because
that.
Hunter Biden just got caught out there. I don't know. See, nobody know about
Nope.
that.
No,
Hunter
see,
Biden just got caught out. Well, he might have been
half
got
the
caught
time I
out there.
forget that Biden is even our president. But
Me too, actually. So
um,
I want y'all to put that in y'all soul too. Joe Biden's son got caught out there with some drugs. and some hookers, pictures and all that shit. But I'm gonna leave that right there.
Yeah, so as soon as it starts affecting them, instead of them instead of them just accosting them and fucking ridiculing them, they tell them that, oh, you just need help and we can cure you and we can. Well, why wasn't that available back then? You know what I'm saying? It ain't no different procedure, because in order for you to get off crack, you just had to go through your withdrawal. Somebody had to make sure that you weren't fucking with the shit for a certain amount of time. Keep your hydrogen levels up and your motherfucking water levels up and all that shit, and make sure that you was good. Sweat it out. Go through whatever demons you got to go through, and then slowly work your way back in. I mean, it ain't. It sounds easy, and I'm sure it's
No, it was
not. But
facts.
but
When
at
you
the same time, it was people was going through rehab, going through that withdrawal within a week and being done. And now they're focused on, all right, now I got to get myself back. I can't put myself in the same scenario that I did before. I'm going to fall backwards. It ain't no
nah,
different than what they doing now. That's what
They're
they doing
not.
now.
They don't care. Because they
For these
don't care. Is a black and a white thing. It's a black and a white
it
thing.
is.
Because
It
I
is.
remember I was on Facebook and we was on there joking. We making fun of a dope fiend like it was funny. This white girl comes on there like, oh, that's not funny. I know people. I got friends that are hooked on dope, and it's not good. It's a sickness. I say, yo, I say you was laughing. You was laughing at fucking Dave Chappelle when he made the skit about a crackhead or the crackhead on the PJs. That was funny to y'all, or the crackhead on any other show. That shit was funny to y'all, but it's not funny. This ain't funny now. Oh yeah, it's funny now. You see, it's different from when
No,
it
I don't really
affects
think
y'all.
it's funny.
You didn't laugh at the crackhead on PJs.
No, it's not that I didn't laugh at the crackhead on the PJs. What I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things, none of it is funny. In the
It
grand
wasn't.
scheme of things,
It wasn't funny, dog. But on a Living Color, when he had the crackhead walking
yeah,
around
all
with
of
the
yeah.
that was the most funniest thing. Everybody ha 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 ha. But somebody makes a joke about a dope fiend now because this is a serious thing. Motherfucker, crack was a serious thing to us too.
Now, do y'all
It-
think that our biggest issue, not to cut you off, our biggest issue is group thought? And
yeah,
and that's the point that I'm trying to drive home is that imagine group thought as this big cloud. I'm making this up as I go along, but just
but
imagine it, a big cloud. And there's people who can live outside of the cloud that can actually tell that cloud where to go. You get what I'm saying? Like who
yeah,
that's what I think the biggest issue is. And I say that because the reason why it was funny when in Living Color they was making fun of crackheads and all that, because we was already programmed. That's what this all comes back to. Programming. We
Mhm.
were already programmed to see that as such a look down onable offense. Yeah, I said that word. I made it up.
yeah.
Look down onable thing. And when you say crackhead, it's almost thrown away as something comedic. But when you say pillhead, you automatically looking like, oh well, what caused them to be on pills? Who did that to them?
Did it to
You get
himself.
what I'm saying? Who did
Yeah,
that to them? How did that happen to them? It's already programmed. That's all this stuff that happened was programmed, and all your precious presidents. Let's go through it. Add some fact to the conversation.
Okay.
You go, the fuck is that nigga name? Reagan. You go, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, all of them
Another Bush.
stood on another Bush, stood on that platform. And you know what I thought was crazy, and nobody seems to understand how deep this shit really go. I can't even pretend like I know how deep it goes. As I'm looking at the clips of Bush Senior on there, I'm saying Little George Bush right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Craziest shit in the world. When they said, "Yo," and Reagan got out of office, and then nigga, don't you know George Bush Senior was Reagan's fucking what they say, it was vice president?
yeah. It was vice president. Yeah,
Y'all don't see how that shit was handed down?
Yeah.
yeah.
And nigga, and you don't think they had this meeting in there and said, all right,
This is how you're
we
going to keep your boosts.
yep, keep this business going, because behind the scenes there's a business. Keep this business going by making that your platform. Hey, United States so stupid, they're gonna believe anything you put on the news. So if you tell them that your platform is getting drugs off the streets, they're gonna believe it and put you up there because of that. Group thought.
While you secretly behind the scene taking money to let this shit keep coming in, making deals with drug dealers. Like y'all just they fucked us. They fucked us royally. No, they fucked us so bad. They fucked us that we can never recover from the crack era. Like we still haven't recovered. You know why it's recovering now? Because it's coming gentrified. That's
Say
it.
that one more time.
It's becoming gentrified. All the areas,
Gentrify,
my area right now, where
not
I live at
ginger.
right now, where I grew up, was a fucking drug infested neighborhood that maybe I may have had one white family living back here. White people, when only time I seen white people walk down the street or drive their car in this neighborhood was to get drugs. I seen my lunch lady come drive back here get drugs. I seen everybody come back here that I knew white come get drugs. Now that like I said, a giant murder happened back here, and I lie to you not. I remember as a kid, it was the FBI, the ATF, and the local police came and shut this bitch down. Did a drug raid. I never seen so many guns, leather jackets in my life. They hopped out on everybody, was locking them up. A couple years later, now it's white families every other corner. The cops that never rode down the street, they're parked up at the park. They ride through the neighborhoods. I'm like, y'all, where was y'all at when we needed y'all? Like, to get this shit out of our neighborhood. Where was y'all then? Like, when was y'all? Where was the help then? Where was the help from the politicians now that this sickness is going on in our neighborhood? Because it was a fucking sickness. Let's call it what the fuck it is. Anybody that was on crack back then was fucking sick and they needed fucking help. But instead, y'all turned a blind eye to them. Y'all made them look out like these fucking monsters, and you told us to turn on our people. The fuck type shit is that?
If
Like
I'm a
y'all,
if I'm a slave master and let's say it's getting too many of y'all to feed, and I want to kill one of you by poisoning, of course I'm gonna turn a blind eye to it, bro. I'm giving you the poison. America will turn a blind eye to who they poisoning. So yeah, I know, nigga. That's like you. That's like you going to to George Bush and Bill Clinton and all them like, yo, you fucked our neighborhood up. In real life, they're like, yeah,
okay,
I meant
yeah,
to do that. I meant it.
yeah,
You. Why would I help you if I meant it? I meant all that. You
yeah.
get what I'm saying?
They meant yeah, because that's why this opioid shit is so big to them now. It's so precious to them now because they fucking kids is getting hooked on this shit. These politicians. That's what now was affect them. These rich billionaire motherfuckers. Their kids is hooked on pills. They hooked on opioids, and they know all it takes for them to get their hands on one bag of dope, and that's it. Like the whole fentanyl shit that's dropping fiends left and right. They said that was because it's coming from China. Then they said they think China is doing the retribution because they hit them with the opioids first and infected they fucking people. So as a retaliation for them getting back at America doing that to them, they're now leaking fake fentanyl, which is dropping fiends left and right. And they can't. And you think a fiend gonna say, "Yo, is a drug out there that can this bag could possibly be fentanyl and kill me?" Think they're gonna stop? Hell no. They're gonna take their chance. If I die, I die. If I don't, I don't. I live to do another day. Now that's the problem. Is they kids are dropping off these drugs and shit like that. Because all it takes is one bag of dope for these politician kids to get on, and that can drop them, kill them, or have them hooked for life. And now you look like this scourge. Because like I said, I still haven't seen anybody. I still back in the day. How many times on TV did you see these crazy ass drug busts, these crack busts, these raids of these fucking tanks busting in people's doors and shit like that? I have yet to see that shit happen to anybody that sells dope.
That's 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 what I'm saying, bro.
It's like,
We know what this is, and this is we're gonna always be used, black and brown people alike. You're gonna always be used as a stool for another agenda. That's all.
yeah,
Like remember that. You will always be same with Lincoln and slavery, bro.
Yep.
You are used as a political tool. Is why we're here. You think that hey, you think they want to send us back to wherever the fuck they say we came from? I know, Kev. I know your stance on it, but you think they want to do that? No, nigga, you the scapegoat. You the nigga that we can say rob something even if you didn't, because we're the real criminals. They're the government. They're the real criminals, but we got to make you look like it so they don't look at us.
Yeah, that's funny that you did say that because just imagine if they got their wish and all the dumb shit that they were doing, they'd have to be responsible for.
No, they'll still blame it on us. They'll still blame it.
They
Yo,
came
was
here
over
in
there
the dark of the
wilding.
night.
They was over there. What matter of fact, it's still some over here. They was wilding, right?
Nah, if we all went back to fucking Africa, real shit, they'd make some fake war to fucking come and terrorize us and bomb our fucking country and come like if black people went back to Africa and only black people was in fucking charge and you couldn't get no and we raised the prices on our resources that we got to give to y'all will make some fake fucking war up like y'all did in these other countries. Like look how they bombed out Iran and Iraq. Y'all was giving these niggas weapons at one point in time. Y'all was giving these niggas the weapons at one point in time. Yep. Now they not, because now they don't want to give you fucking oil. Let's make a fake war over there and look for weapons of mass destruction that we never fucking found. Dog, they was cool with Bin Laden. It's pictures of Bin Laden with the president of the United States. Him taking pictures. And all of a sudden this niggas make some war.
Yeah,
but
I tell you,
crazy.
I feel like the United States be a scorned girlfriend, dog. I tell you, and they start getting into situations with different countries, and then something don't go their way, they start turning into a scorned girlfriend. Now they want to fucking retaliate and do some shit that we ain't all decided we was down for. Now you got to do it anyway.
God
you know what
damn.
I mean? What?
Let me ask you a question. Why y'all think? Because it's a whole plane. Why y'all think we giving billions upon billions of dollars to who the fuck we giving it to now?
Everybody.
Nah, we giving it to one country or
you talking about Ukraine
specifically? Ukraine. Why you think we doing that? As a last question,
because we want something from them. These motherfuckers.
I'm just curious.
Because we want something from them. It's something they got. I think they got oil. Where you got a fucking fucking United States, Michigan still drinking brown fucking water that nobody wants to talk about. You still got bombed out fucking cities in fucking Detroit that look bombed the fuck out. You still got bombed out cities like Camden, no job. Y'all don't even want to, y'all always talk about infrastructure and all this. Oh, we got to help them. Man, fuck everybody else. How I'm going to clean your house and my house still dirty?
When the last time you heard of the virus?
Oh, that I don't know. It's gone. Disappeared.
The point in all of this, before we end this, is that nothing is what it seems. And it's not even a conspiracy thing. This is just the truth. Nothing is what it seems. I'm going to show you what I want to show you and keep what I want to keep. We just need scapegoats so that we can, push our real agenda. And the opioid epidemic is something that they did not plan for, but the crack epidemic, they did.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, like I said, man, free. If they gonna do something, if y'all gonna do something about these opioids and helping them, start releasing these dudes that y'all still got on these 25-year sentence and we're just getting high. Release them because they still in there or doing 50 years or 60 years. Put them on the street. They ain't do nothing but smoke crack rock. They affected themselves. That's all I got to say.
Word.
America's fucked up.
All I got to say is take care of yourself.
Well, absolutely.
I mean, I personally don't believe that it's a disease. I believe that it's still an addiction. If you decide to do something and knowing that the cost is going to be grave, where you're going to be put in a situation where you're going to be dependent on something, that was a decision that you made. You decided to smoke crack or you decided to take advantage of these pills. I mean, I can't even, like, Percocets and stuff like that, it doesn't work well with me. I have to actually be in pain for me to take one, for me to just be regular. If I take one and I'm not in pain, I'm no good to nobody. I'm either passing out or it just doesn't feel right to me. You know what I'm saying? Throws my body off. So unless it's prescribed to me for a reason of me being in pain or, you know what I mean? I don't see no reason of me taking it. But when you decide to start taking something because it makes you feel better and you're overly self-medicating on it, that's a decision you made. You know what I mean? Because you want a feeling until that feeling takes over you. Now that's an addiction. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing that you were sick about. You was fine before you started taking it. You started taking it. Now you're not fine. You decided to do that. Now you got to go through withdrawal. You got to go through rehab. And once you're done now, you get yourself back. Now you're not an addict no more. So when you were an addict and they call it a disease and you become free, now you're disease free. It's supposed to be a virus now. You know what I'm saying? You have a disease because you were addicted, and now we brought you to rehab. Are they now disease free,
No, you're
or
always
will
an
they
addict.
always be diseased? Because once an addict, always an addict. That's how you think about it. I mean, I don't necessarily think about it now. I just know to be a little weary when it comes to certain situations of what I'm putting someone into, especially knowing their history. You know what I mean? I put them in a situation where they can thrive and not fall backwards. But at the same time, are you disease free now? It was a disease. You're calling it an epidemic. So once they go to rehab, they're just free. Did we get that fucking opportunity when we were addicts as
No.
a group, a culture, as a people? Nah, we got persecuted. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why I'm not even gonna get into it. But that's another reason I don't fuck with cops neither. You know what I mean? The shit is it's just all entangled to us as a people being dragged, knowing that we could be and are so much more. Shit is fucking sickening. I'm done with this though. We can end this shit, man.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.